extending to the rest of the league today?
I don't ever want to go through another season like 2020 ever.
Keyshawn, J. Will, Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. Cars, homes, boats, motorcycles, RVs, and more at Progressive.com. Mike Reese joins us right now, our ESPN Patriots reporter. And I guess the first thing we should do here, Mike, is just listen to Robert Kraft as he's talking about what is the big story. And maybe it's always been the big story with the Patriots. It hasn't changed even after Tom Brady left. But talking about the quarterback situation with his team, not just going forward, but also from this past year.
I think we have a situation where we have, at this point in time, we're trying to do what the best thing for us is. And I think, in fairness to Cam, I'm not sure he had the proper weapons around him last year, and then he got COVID, and there were a lot of things that happened. And I don't know that Jared has ever really gotten a fair shot, so we have to wait and see what happens.
Good morning, Mike. Why did he bring up Jared's name?
Yeah, did he just bring up Jarrett Stidham's name?
How about that, Alan and J. Will? I mean, so just for context on this, I mean, Robert Kraft always does a Q&A with reporters at the NFL annual meeting. So this is sort of tied to that, like an annual Q&A, and it's the first time we've heard from anyone from the organization since early January. Bill Belichick did an end-of-season news conference. We haven't heard from anyone since then, since Tom Brady went on to win the Super Bowl, since they re-signed Cam. So here we are. And to me, that was Robert Kraft saying, all right now it's Cam Newton, it's Jarrett Stidham. We might even give him a chance. And then we sort of wait and see. So some support behind those two, but also still acknowledging there's questions to be answered.
I got to ask you, Mike, but I've seen so many of these mock drafts that have came out. It used to be the Patriots are going to take Mac Jones with their pick. Right now we're seeing Mac Jones go potentially 3 to San Francisco. Now it's like, the Patriots going to trade up to try to get a guy like Justin Fields. There's always a quarterback that is involved in these conversations, but yet we just heard Mr. Kraft talk about Jarrett Stidham. Like, I'm so confused right now.
It does get a little confusing. So here's the thing. First of all, think about this. The Patriots haven't selected a quarterback in the first round over the last 27 years. Like, for context, there's only one or two other teams that have had a longer streak. So that would be very much out of character for the Patriots to take a quarterback in the first round. Of course, we know why. Tom Brady was there for so long. They had Drew Bledsoe before that. So start with that. One other thing that Robert Kraft said that we didn't hear in that clip was he put his support behind Cam. He mentioned Jarrett Stidham, but he did say we do need to solidify this position for the long term, and there's still the draft, so we'll have to wait and see. So he sort of left all the options out on the table for us and didn't really declare one way or the other which way they're going to go.
Okay, so I listened to the sound yesterday, multiple times yesterday, and then again this morning, and it continues to lead me to think, was that a shot at Bill Belichick? I mean, it's Mike, he is the reason why they were in this position where those guys didn't have weapons around them to a degree.
So, and I can see why some people might look at that. And I didn't necessarily view it as a shot as much as, like, explain why they went and spent record money in free agency. Like, March 15th, you can start negotiating with free agents from other teams, and they go guarantee $165 million in contracts, NFL record, and which almost matches, by the way, the price that Kraft bought the team for in 1994. And I think what he was trying to say is, like, we know this isn't the best way to do business, but here's why we did it. We didn't have a lot of talent on the team because of some struggles in the draft, and we viewed it as a unique opportunity with the cap going down, having cap space, with fewer teams that we're competing with to try to sign these players, and with better players on the market because teams couldn't retain their top players because they were crunched for space. So I think it was more that than a shot at Bill Belichick. If you wanted to say maybe a challenge to Bill Belichick, I could see that because the drafting has been not to their standard in recent years.
Mike Reese joins us right here. KJZ, ESPN Radio, Alan Hahn, Jay Will, talking Patriots. And, you know, if we're talking Patriots and talking quarterbacks, there's always that feeling of regret. And now that the 49ers have moved up in the draft and look like they're going to look for their next quarterback there, and they say, oh, no, Jimmy G's not going anywhere, but there's always that for now qualifier. How much interest is there, or at least in the background with the Patriots, keeping an eye on that situation to perhaps maybe bring Jimmy G back in the fold?
Alan, I think the way you worded it is perfect based on, you know, what I hear from the team is they're keeping an eye on it. I don't sense that they're aggressively pursuing it right now, but they'll keep monitoring it. And basically the situation in New England is they have Cam, and they feel like that if they need to go into the season, like they'll go in with Cam and Jarrett Stidham and maybe a draft pick. But they know they have to answer the question for the long term, quarterback of the future. And Jimmy was their quarterback of the future when they traded him in 2017. They just thought the future was going to start earlier than it did. Tom Brady just outlasted that succession plan. So if they could bring Jimmy back at a reasonable price from their view, that is something they would entertain. I think the question is, what is a reasonable price? And maybe in the 49ers, 5 months from now, their situation changes and they feel more comfortable with whoever they pick at number 3, turning the team over to them, and maybe that price comes down and we look at that situation a little differently.
Mike, I need a quick answer here because we're about to go to break, but you mentioned the word regret, and you said that Tom Brady has outlasted what they thought of a quarterback in that position. Do you think there's regret there from Bob Kraft about letting Tom Brady go?
Ooh.
Jay Will, I asked him point blank that question. He said no, and he said he'd make this deal with any player that plays 20 years for the Patriots and helps deliver 6 Super Bowl championships to let him experience free agency without the franchise tag, which they could have placed on him, but they elected not to.
Did he blink? Did he blink while he said that? Because if he blinked, he's lying. He's lying, Mike. I don't know if I believe that.
It's a bigger story if he said, yes, I do regret it.
There you go.
No
there
doubt
you go.
about it. Hey, Mike, great to catch up with you. Thanks, as always. Hope to catch up with you soon.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Jay Will.
Mike Reese, covering the Patriots. Always a big story. Always something going on there.
I think he has to regret it.
Maybe.
I think he has to know you have to regret that.
Well,
you see Tom Brady every day corralling superstar, like making a team into a championship contender, doing it a different way. You're happy for him. I'm not saying that you're not, but you're seeing him hoist that trophy at the end of the day.